All right, number 8 right here. So first we want to list the transformations. So what's the very first transformation you see? It's right here. Reflect over the x-axis. That's right. Okay. Reflect over x-axis. Okay. What is the next transformation? That's going to be the 3 right here. Vertical stretch by 3. That's right. Vertical because it's outside of the parentheses, and it's a stretch because it's greater than 1. All right, and then our last transformation is inside here. What is that going to be? Right 2. Okay, so then on our table, remember x and y, and we always start with our basic 5 points. What are they? Negative 2, 4. Negative 1, 1. 0, 0. 1, 1. And 2, 4. Right. Now we're going to change the table values based on the transformations. First, it says reflect over x. What does that do to my table values? Reflecting over the x makes all your y values negative. Right, by negative 1. So the reflect over x right here, we multiply all these by negative 1. So what are my new y values at this point?
Negative 4, negative 1, 0, negative 1.
Right, so that's where we are so far. Next we got a vertical stretch by 3. What would that do to my table values? Right, so it's not adding because it's a stretch. So we're going to multiply. So we multiply all the y values by 3. And y, how did you know it was the y values, not the x ones? Doesn't have to do with if it's stretch or shrinking, because it's vertical stretch. Remember, because y is vertical direction. So after this, what are my new y values?
Negative 12, negative 3, 0, negative 3.
That's right. Negative 12, negative 3, 0, negative 3, and negative 12. Okay, and then our last transformation, we have that we're moving to the right 2. What would that do to my table values? It has to do with the x values, right? And what do I do to them? Add 2 to all of them, right? So plus 2, plus 2. So what is negative 2 plus 2? 0. Negative 1 plus 2? 1. What's 0 plus 2? 2. 1 plus 2? 3. And then 2 plus 2? Right. Also, if you would notice that after you find your first point, right? Like we got the negative 2 plus 2, that's 0, right? All the rest just go in order, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's always like that because it's just a shift. Okay? All right, so now we can see our points right here. We got 0, negative 12. That's off the graph, so I'm not going to graph that one. Next, we got 1, negative 3. That's right here. We have 2, 0 right here. 3, negative 3 right here. And then 4, negative 12. That's off the graph, right? So we just connect these like this. And that's basically what the graph is going to look like. All right. Now let's take a look at all of the attributes here. What is the domain? The domain is going to be negative infinity, positive infinity, right. What is the range now? Now remember, it's always the lowest number to the highest point. Negative infinity to? What's the highest y value here? 0. So it's negative infinity to 0. And what should my symbols around each be? Parentheses? And then bracket, right. What is the vertex here? 2, 0. What is my x-intercept? 2, 0, right. The x-intercept is just the point where it touches the x-axis. And that happens to also be the vertex, right? Okay, what is the y-intercept? 0, negative 12. And where did you get that from exactly? That's one of your points from the table, right? Because where your x is 0, that's your y-intercept. And on our table, we can see that x is 0, y is negative 12. Okay, what's the axis of symmetry? X equals 2, right. Remember, that's also the x value of the vertex. What's the minimum value here? None, because negative infinity is not an actual point. And what's my maximum value? 0. That's right. And that's number 8.